Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Cosolix. Today I want to explain why I'm excited but also hesitant for the future of Brawlhalla. So there's a lot of really cool things happening in the game right now. First off, the Chakram new weapon is finally coming out next week. I had the privilege to play this weapon at BCX, and this weapon is kind of like Katar's meets Orb, but also more fun. There's some design questions I have with the weapon. Like, the dare is like hammer dare, where you're going to see a lot of players sit at the top of the map and then fish for it to try and get some early KOs. But I think in general, the weapon is really awesome, and it's the start of a bright future of really cool characters. I think a lot of people will find this weapon to be maybe not as popular as something like a scythe or a greatsword, because those have more interesting mechanics, but because of its hook mechanic of two ways to split the weapon apart, I think it's definitely going to be very popular, and that's really exciting going forward. So the second feature that makes me really excited is the future clans or guilds update. It's going to give a really compelling reason to play this game in a row. There's a lot of people, and even myself lately, I'll play the game and then I have no reason to keep playing the game. I don't care about cosmetics anymore, and my wrist kind of hurts, so I'm not really entering tournaments as much anymore. So why should I play Brawlhalla? And right now, there's no reason. But guilds or clans, it creates a community. If your friends are all part of the same guild and you guys are all doing guild battles and you guys all have events internally, it's really a way to create a community. And Brawlhalla has a great community, but it's really difficult to get into that community. And this gives a much stronger and more compelling and a lower barrier to entry for new players and, up and coming Brawlhalla players to really want to play this game over a long period of time. And that's going to grow the community tremendously. Weekly guild ranking. That's awesome. Love it. Weekly guild points. Love it. Your contribution. Imagine you're in a community, right? And let's say I'm in the same guild as Sandstorm. Okay, Sandstorm gets 1,000 points this month. I get 500 points. I'm never gonna hear the end about it, right? Like, imagine people rinsing each other. That's a British term. Thanks, Rexay. But imagine people really just it creates conversation within the community. It creates reasons to grind, how long you've been in the guild for. There's direct connections to Discord. There's notices. Looks like there's missions, there's battles, recruitment. This is awesome. It makes me so damn excited. I cannot wait until this comes out. This is the best thing Brawlhalla has done maybe ever. This is better than new weapons in my eyes. This creates community, which I think Brawlhalla is actually lacking. And I'm going to go into more detail later in the video why. Brawlhalla is the best, not the best, but Brawlhalla is a great community, but there's a huge disparity between the average Brawlhalla player and the average Brawlhalla player in the community. Those are not the same, and not even close. So this bridges that gap. And why does that gap exist? Well, tune in to find out. And the third reason I'm really excited is this is the first esports year since, I guess, 2023, but really since 2019. They are going back to third-party community events. Check this out, Max Mode 2025. It's not really announced as official, but it kind of is. It's in their Brawlhalla esports schedule. Let me just pull that up. So in their esports year 10, they have an image. This is the image here. It just shows the schedule of what's to come. And you can see, obviously, CEO, obviously BCX. Those are the two events last year. Same two events this year. They're great events. Love them. But Max Mode, Winter Royale, 1v1 and 2v2. The Royale is a private event, but this Max Mode tournament has open bracket 2v2, and it has a bracket for 1v1 to qualify into the Royale. That is going to be really hype. And even though this isn't advertised the same as like a CEO, I'm sure the prize pool isn't going to be great either. It's great to see Brawlhalla back at these community events, because what it means for us is we get to go to more in-person Brawlhalla tournaments. There's just more opportunities to see others in the community, see your friends that you don't see very often, and meet others in the community. I love these lands, and it inspired me when I was younger to go pro and to focus on Brawlhalla. And I think Brawlhalla has a lack of excitement when it comes to their esports, and seeing them back at events like this is huge. And not just official events, Brawlhalla's done a great job with community events. If you go into the Brawlhalla game, you click this button that doesn't say it's a button, we'll go into that later, and you actually hit community. There's a lot of tournaments that Brawlhalla's funding the prize pool for that are being hosted by people in the community, like AJ Moore with Moose Wars, or Slow Motion with his Bearded Brawls. These are great. Or even SIB with their Frostbite. Love what they're doing. And there's a lot of tournaments. So if you want to become a competitive Brawlhalla player, lots of opportunities still. It's great, as well as potential support for in-person events. Brawlhalla funded a Neutralix event last year in October. Greatly appreciate that. It was a good start, and hopefully that opens the door for more opportunities like that in the future. So that's everything I'm excited about. But here's where it ends, because I'm a little bit hesitant for the future. There's a couple things that I think Brawlhalla should change, or at least should take note of and think about. The first problem, in my eyes, is the lack of gameplay updates. I think Brawlhalla has the exact opposite problem as Fortnite did back in the day. Remember, if you're old, maybe not old, but older, Fortnite added things like a sword and just planes, and they did too much too quick with their game for competitive players. Pros got really mad. But I think Brawlhalla's on the opposite end. It's been a while now since they played around with their formula. The new dash changes long term, good thing. I think a lot of pros do like it long term. There's some tweaks that are probably needed. However, seeing gameplay updates excites and rejuvenates a competitive community, because it creates more opportunity for new players to do well. It changes the meta and creates something that hopefully results in better gameplay. And I think Brawlhalla kind of lacks that. I think there's some new players like Markimu who are extremely exciting to watch. I think it's awesome. But the fact that it's only Markimu that is exciting people, that's a problem. I think there's a big problem with disadvantage state being too strong in the game. It makes neutral interactions happen more often, which is the most passive part of the game. I think advantage state needs to be much better across the board of weapons. Sight's a good start, but I think other weapons need to get better at it. Either buffing the weapons or nerfing how dodge works potentially could see tremendous upside. Although those changes, they do upset part of the community that likes how Brawlhalla is. Kind of like a melee. They like the formula, but I think it's important to slightly adjust it every off season. So over time, competitive Brawlhalla gameplay is as exciting as possible for new Brawlhalla players. I got into the game idolizing LDZ and these pros like Egg Soup at the time, who really paved the way for everyone else back in 2016, 2017. And that's what got me really into the community. I know Brawlhalla isn't advertised as a competitive game like Riot's Valorant, but turning people from casual to competitive players is a much better way and a more consistent way to create value for returning players to want to play again. And that's kind of on my other note of the current formula for Brawlhalla players to want to play again is cosmetics. It's the battle pass, it's viewership rewards, it's colors in game, community colors, getting old codes, going to events for codes. Codes are great, don't get me wrong. However, I'm sick and tired of codes because they're in every goddamn free-to-play game. There's no reason to care about Brawlhalla codes over Fortnite codes, over Apex codes, over Warzone, whatever. I don't even know how those work. But the point that I'm trying to make is codes should not be the value that brings players back. If you rely on codes, that's a problem in my eyes. I think it's a good start. I think they've done some great things with the codes, but it's time to turn casual players into people in the community without relying on codes. And that's what I was saying earlier. Guilds, this clans update is awesome. Excuse my language, but it's a great way to make people love and want to play Brawlhalla. But that's kind of where it ends. If you go to the game right now, right, and you want, of course there's ranked, but there's not much reason to play ranked from seeing within the game. You know, I don't really know why I should play ranked. Maybe I can get ranked codes in the store, but that's kind of about it. If I hit play, the game is advertising for people to play free-for-all, strikeout, friendly 2v2s, and experimental 1v1s over the competitive game. Right? There's no 1v1 casual queue. There's no 2v2 casual queue. Friendly 2s is nice, but it's not actual 2v2. But honestly, I'll take this as a win. But why is there strikeout 1v1 over casual 1v1? Like, and this is a theoretical, but this is how I see it. If I'm a new Brawlhalla player and I play the game and I go to play strikeout and free-for-all, will I want to keep playing the game? Well, there's no competitive strikeout or free-for-all. There's codes. I can do it for codes. Maybe clans. I could do it for clans that aren't the thing yet. And if I go to the game itself, other than a battle pass and like making custom rooms with friends, there's no progression. I'll play the game for a week. I'll play some casual game modes and I'll hop off. You know, ranked is too sweaty for me. There's no reason for me to play ranked. There's no reason to do any of this. Guilds will help, but the number one thing, that esports menu we talked about earlier in the video, it doesn't show it's a menu. It doesn't advertise it. Imagine if there's countdown timers of the next big tournament, or you could watch the tournaments from in-game itself and it pulls up the feed in its own in-game video player. That actually wouldn't be that hard to add, at least in the PC version. But yes, Brawlhalla is on all consoles, so that might be a bit more difficult. But the point I'm trying to make here is when I hit play, I'm not even playing the versions of Brawlhalla that give me a reason to want to play again. All of these are extremely casual, and not saying that you can't have casual 1v1, but the casual queues should somewhat resemble the competitive queues. I would take inspiration from Riot, where those people who play those casual 5v5s, they turn competitive because the game is the same. If you practice in the casual, well, instantly those skills are transferred to competitive. Meanwhile, if I become the best free-for-all player, that doesn't mean right. Like it's just the game is not designed to turn new players into returning players without relying on codes. Guilds is a great improvement, but other than that, there's nothing. There's no reason for me to want to play the game consistently. So that's where I'm slightly hesitant. I think that they can improve it, but I think they need to change some things and just update the game to turn people into returning players without relying on cosmetics. And again, the guilds will help. The guilds is a good thing. The skirmishes help theoretically, but honestly, you're relying on cosmetics again. The only reason to care about those skirmishes are cosmetics. You get an avatar. Maybe you make a single tweet on Twitter. I don't think those skirmishes do really anything. So for the first time since June, we're seeing a 1% gain in Brawlhalla players on Steam. Woohoo! That did nothing. I get we're in the off season. The new weapon coming out will boost these numbers, but these numbers is 9,000 average player. Well, it's the lowest it's been since 2019. Like, let that sink in. They need a more compelling reason for these Brawlhalla players to consistently play the game. There's so many people probably watching this video, people who are subscribed to me, that don't play Brawlhalla anymore because there isn't that compelling reason. Guilds will help. Skirmishes don't really do anything because you rely on cosmetics. The problem is relying on cosmetics. Rely on community. Esports is a community. Guilds is a community. And ranked can lead to guild being competitive with guilds and with esports, but there's no clear reason to care about ranked. That's it. And there's no progression to ranked because there's no 1v1, 2v2 casual. So, yeah. One other thing I didn't even mention is their monetization. It's gotten worse. It's pretty crazy. If you want to get like a really nice skin like this Mandalorian one, it's 500 mammoth coins. And I've seen a bunch of YouTubers talk about this already in the Brawlhalla community. But if I want to spend 500 mammoth coins, I need to spend $25 Canadian. And this is a 2D game. So over $20 US, basically, or maybe exactly 20. I don't know the exact conversion, but around 20 US for a skin in Brawlhalla, it's getting a little expensive. I get that there's custom animations and now you have this cool sidekick guy, but I think it's a little bit pricey. And I don't think it's going to compel people to want to play the game just because Baby Yoda's in it. I get they need to make money. And it's cool that I actually love this earn free rewards button, even though it's kind of taken from a mobile game. I think getting revenue in different ways to offset the cost, like I think that's good because people can choose if they want to see the ads or not. I think that's awesome. But yeah, just the skins getting more and more and more expensive when there isn't being, they're not creating new compelling reasons to play the game in return. That's a bit of a problem. These are just my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've been yapping a bit, but I'm really excited, but slightly concerned and hesitant about Brawlhalla right now. I'm not really competing professionally. I don't really have a reason to compete professionally right now. I'm doing my own thing. But let me know your thoughts. Are you playing Brawlhalla right now? If you aren't, why aren't you playing Brawlhalla right now? If you've been subscribed to me for a while and not playing Brawlhalla, thanks for watching this video. Let me know down below if you did, and I'll heart the comment because you are awesome. I got some cool stuff cooking this year, not even Brawlhalla related. I'm working on my own free-to-play fighting game, and we're looking to get into a closed alpha, hopefully by the summer. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.